Good morning, creators, and welcome to another UEFN tutorial. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create a custom progress bar for your Verse UIs. As always, this is a free resource, so feel free to support me by subscribing to the channel, leaving a like, or following me on my socials. If you're also interested, I have a Discord open, linked below. That's a great place to meet other creators, ask questions about my tutorials, or request tutorials. If you're in a hurry, you can copy the code linked below and skip to this timestamp to learn how to use this. But for those who want to learn how to code it, let's get into it. As with anything that utilizes UI, the first thing I always like to do is open up a Widget Blueprint to design my UI. We're going to call this progress bar test and open it up. Place down a canvas panel. I always like to start with a canvas panel. And inside of here, your overlay is going to be what's containing your progress bar. Inside of your overlay, you want to have two images, like so. The one on the very top here is going to be your back color block. And the one below that is going to be your front color block. So your back color block is in the back of the widget. We're going to set the alignment to fill on both of these. And you can set the image size however you want. Your overlay needs to have size to content on. That way your back color block is going to determine the size of the widget. So your image size on your back color block is going to determine the size of your progress bar. Then you want to have tints set to whatever color you want in the back. We could do like a grayish color, like that, dark gray. And we can scale that however we want. Your front color block, there are going to be 4 modes for your progress bar. There's going to be one that is up, left to right, which we're going to do first. That means it's going to be vertically filled, so always fill that entire vertical spot there. And since it's left to right, our horizontal alignment is going to be left aligned. And to size this, all you have to do is change your X, and it will size and slide along. And you'll notice that you can exceed the barrier of that back color block. And that's okay, because in Verse, we're going to make sure that it only gets up to whatever the back color block's X value is. So do not worry about that. So that is a left to right progress bar. What if we want to do a right to left? Well, let's copy this, paste it in. And it's a very simple change. Go into your front color block and set your horizontal alignment to right aligned. And now you'll see with your front color block, when you size it, it sizes from the right to the left. All right. Now let's copy this again, but now let's do a vertical progress bar. So our back color block, I'm going to set the X to something small, like 50. And then the Y to something kind of big, like 350 sounds good. Okay. My front color block, we're going to set the sizes to just something small for now. Since it's vertical, you want your vertical alignment to be either top or bottom. So if you want to do a bottom to top progress bar, start at the bottom. And your horizontal alignment is now going to be filled, just like we did for the horizontal bars, but now vertical, of course. And you can scale it on the Y now. And similar process for getting a vertical down to, or up to down color block. You just need to set the vertical alignment to top. And that's just the core principle behind this this widget. I'll talk about how to deal with scaling at the end, but that is the core principle behind this. All right, so open up your Verse Explorer. You want to add a new Verse file to project. We're gonna call it progress bar. And create empty. And then double click to open. Wait a few seconds. All right, with this open, we want to add our libraries. So we need the two UI libraries, which are /fortnite.com/UI and the Unreal Engine one, so using /unrealengine.com/temporary/UI. We also need spatial math from Unreal Engine. So spatial math. And we also need the verse colors module. Verse.org/colors. Cool. From this point, we can create our progress bar. So we're going to call it progress_bar. That's going to be a class. Just a class, not a device. Inside of here, we have a few variables. First one is going to be progress, which is going to be a float. Go ahead and set it to 0. You also want to have orientation. And bear with me on this one. This is going to be a little bit weird. We're going to do tuple. And then parentheses, we're going to have horizontal alignment, comma, vertical alignment. I will explain that in a second. We also want to have size, which is going to be of type vector2. We also want to have the front color of type color. And then we have back color of type color. We're also going to have two more variables, which are going to be our front color block, which is going to be of type color block. Go ahead and initialize that with a color block. And a back color block. So you can just copy this and paste it over. Rename front to back, like that. So about that orientation, if you go back to our widget, you'll remember that there's different modes. For the left to right, we have vertical fill and horizontal left. The other one is vertical fill and horizontal right. So we're going to create those, and we're going to make them pretty easy to reference so we don't have to keep typing them in. So up here, we're going to do right to left. Set that equal to, or of type tuple, horizontal alignment, vertical alignment. And we're going to set that equal to, in parentheses, horizontal alignment. Remember, for right to left, the horizontal alignment should be right. And we need a vertical alignment, which is going to be fill. All right, so you can copy this, and we're going to keep doing this for the other three. So the next one is left to right. The only thing we need to change here is the horizontal should be left. The next one is going to be down to up. And here we're going to do horizontal alignment fill and vertical alignment bottom. And then the other one we're going to do up to down. And we're going to have horizontal alignment fill yet again, and vertical alignment top, like that. This just makes it easy to reference these whenever we're working with the code, so you don't have to keep typing out this long string of text. So the first function we're going to create in our progress bar, there's only two functions in this progress bar, by the way, so it's going to be very easy to write. First function is get widget, parentheses, and it's going to return an overlay. And so the first thing we want to do in here is set front color block equal to a color block. And then we want our default color to be our front color from here, front color. We also want our default desired size to be a vector2, which is going to have x as 0 and y as 0 by default. We also want our back color block to be set, so back color block is equal to color block. Default color is going to be equal to back color. Default desired size for this time is going to be our size that we inputted here. Because remember that the back color block is the one that controls the size of our widget. And we're going to call a function here called setProgress. But for now, I'm going to leave this as a comment because we don't have that function. Now we need to return our overlay. So return an overlay. Inside of this overlay, we're going to have slots, which is an array, overlay slots. And this overlay slot is going to have a widget that is our back color block. We want to have our horizontal alignments. Which is going to be horizontal alignment dot fill, and vertical alignments, which is going to be vertical alignments dot fill. We also want another overlay slots for our front color block. So widget is going to be front color block. And then our horizontal and vertical alignments are going to be from our orientation that we wrote up here. So we'll do orientation.0 or orientation in parentheses 0 for the horizontal alignment. And for the vertical alignment, we want to have orientation 1. And that way, whatever we pass in here will be immediately passed into our getWidget function. So that's the whole function. Next, we just have the setProgress function. So setProgress is a pretty simple one. So setProgress with our progress amount of type float returns void. We don't want it to return anything. We are going to first set our progress equal to, we're going to call this in progress. So the input progress. So set progress equal to in progress. Remember that our orientation could either be vertical or horizontal. So we need two instances in here. So if the orientation is vertical and if the orientation is horizontal. And so the way we check if it's vertical is if orientation at 1, which is the vertical or 0 actually. Orientation at 0 is, which is the horizontal one, is equal to horizontal alignment dot fill. Remember that all vertical progress bars are going to have a fill horizontal alignment. So that's how we check for vertical. Same kind of deal for the horizontal check, but flipped. So checking the vertical orientation and making sure that is a fill. So vertical alignment.fill. From this, we are going to get our front color block, which is the one that controls the progress. Front color block dot set desired size. And this is going to be a vector2. Since horizontal is filled, it doesn't matter what the x value is here, but we need to set our y value equal to size dot y. times progress. So whatever percentage of progress is in the device is going to be the size of the Y here. And the same deal, but flipped for the other version, where X is going to be equal to size.x times progress. And that's the whole set progress function. Real quick, I wanted to add 2 more useful functions for our device, which is set front color, which is going to pass a color. So my color of type color, going to return nothing. So let's go ahead and turn our front and back color into variables. Like so. So we're going to set front color equal to my color. And then we want to set our front color block dot set color. And we're just going to do front color like that. That way in your code, if you have like an XP bar that's supposed to change colors every single level, you can do that dynamically. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the back color. I doubt anybody's going to use this, but just in case. It's the exact same function, but replace it with back. So set back color equal to my color. And then back color block dot set color back color, like so. Then we're going to add some quick quotes to say what each function does. That's the color of the back of the progress bar. Then set front color is going to set the color of the front of the progress bar. Set progress updates the progress displayed. Get widget is going to return a widget to be used in your UIs. Just one UI. So we're going to make a note here. As a widget, you can only use one progress bar once. So you have to create a progress bar every time you want to use one. There's one last function we want to create just so that the whole process of creating a progress bar is going to be more streamlined. You don't have to type up so many things, which is going to be called make progress bar. This is a global function, so keep it at the kind of the top of your verse file, above your progress bar here. So we're going to have a value of in progress of type float. We're going to have an orientation of type tuple. You can just go ahead and copy this right here. You're going to have a size of type, we're going to do in orientation like that, and in size of type vector2, and also an in front color of type color, and finally an in back color of type color. It's going to return a progress bar, and then set that equal to return progress bar. And inside of here, you want to declare all your variables. So progress is equal to in progress. Orientation is equal to in orientation. Size is equal to in size. Front color is equal to in front color. And finally, back color is equal to in back color. This is how you would normally have to type it without this function, but because we wrote this function, it's a lot easier to write. Real quick, let's go ahead and fix our set progress function here. Progress. Yeah, so we should use set progress. So here I have a very basic interactive UI device. We're going to create our basic canvas. So inside of this, we want to have our progress bar. So my progress bar is equal to make progress bar. And in here, we need to declare our initial progress. So progress must be listed from 0 to 1. It's a percentage. So if you go beyond that, your widget's going to go beyond the size, which is not ideal. So keep it 0 to 1. You can calculate that however you need with whatever you're needing. But just use a 0 to 1 size. So I'll make it a note here. Progress must be a percentage, which is 0 to 1. So make progress bar. We need to have an initial progress. We're going to do 0 like that. We're going to have our orientation as listed in our thing here. Right to left, left to right, down to up, and up to down. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's just do a left to right here. Left to right. Next, we need a vector 2, which is going to be the size of our progress bar. So vector 2. Let's say our x is, since it's left to right, we want our x to be large. So 250.0, and y can be 50.0. Then we want our color. So make sure you have verse colors or verse named colors in your as libraries in your device. The color function I like to use is make color from sRGB in parentheses, and this takes 3 floats, R, G, and B, red, green, and blue. So if you want something bluish, remember this first color here, as defined in our progress bar function, is going to be your front color, and then your back color is the second color that you're inputting. So this is the front color, which we're going to do, let's do something blue. I like blue. So 0.0, add a little bit of green, like 0.1, and then 1.0 for blue. And then we want to have our back color, make color from sRGB. We're going to do something grayish, so we'll do 0.1 for all of these values. And that should be a dark gray. So that's your progress bar, but that's only the class of the progress bar. You need to get the actual widget to use in your UI. So my widget is going to be equal to my progress bar dot get widget, like so. And now inside of your canvas, you can add your progress bar. So let's just add a array of slots. Canvas slots. And here's a very important note that I have to make. You must have, after you add your widget, of course, size to content must be true. If it's not, the whole bar is going to get screwed up. Let me show you. In here, if you have size of content off, it's not gonna fit to the values because it's based off of the value of the back color block. So if I copy this value and paste it in, it should be at 100%, but since size of content's off, well, that would be 100%. It doesn't look good. Now with size of content on, it's gonna be at 100% as intended. So make sure size of content is on in whatever big widget you're using. So if you have this inside of a overlay, for example, let's show this. Let's put just any of these progress bars in this overlay. I'm going to add a color in the background just so that you can better see what I'm doing here. We'll make it black, fill, And we're going to set our overlay here, the big one, to size of content. And we want to use our image for this background image for the scaling, like so. If you have this overlay on fill, it screws it up. If you have it on anything else, it's not going to get screwed up. So you'll see it actually scales properly if it's on the any of these vertical alignments or horizontal alignments except for fill. So you can kind of mess around with it, figure out what works best for you. But if you're having an issue where it's not properly scaling, this is why. For the purpose of updating your progress bar, you're going to want to store your progress bar per player. So let's say we have, in our make basic canvas function, we return a tuple, which includes our canvas and our my progress bar, or just progress bar. Progress bar, like so. I'm going to add a name to this canvas just so it's easier to return. And then we're going to return canvas and my progress bar, like so. So wherever I have this function, which is make basic canvas, remember the first thing we had here was canvas, so it's going to be at the first index. And then our progress bar is going to be in the second index of our result here. So canvas is going to be stored in our player UI, and we want to store that in a map. If you're unfamiliar with this stuff, I have multiple tutorials on my channel. I'll probably link some in the video. But this is how you build a map. Follow those tutorials if you're confused. You also want to have a map for a progress bar for your players. And you're going to go ahead and set that here as well. Just progress bar, like that. I had this as an array for different testing, but that's this should just be question mark progress bar like that. Ignore all of this that I have here. Okay, so one final thing is to tell you how to use the API I have here. So get widget gets your widget, of course. Set progress will set the size of your front block or the progress that's displayed. You can also set the front color and the back color dynamically. The way you do that in the code is with your progress bar. You do my progress bar dot, set progress, for example, to anything from 0 to 1. So let's say like 0.5 halfway through sets your progress. You can also do my progress bar dot set front color. And you can do make color from sRGB. Just do all zeros for black if you want. So it's very simple to use, very basic API. If you want to grab it from your map, just as a bonus, say here, for example, you do progress bar per player. Use whatever input you have. Here I have a widget message. I'll write a quick function because that might be confusing to some of y'all. We'll do update progress for agents, and we'll just input an arbitrary number. So number of type int, or float. It has to be a float, sorry. Type void. We're going to do if pb is equal to progress bar per player at index A, add a question mark because it's an optional. Should be agent. My bad. Agent of type agent, like that. pb dot set progress, for example, num. Very simple to use. Just get it from the map. It will update on your screen. Works very well. Just make sure that your progress value is always 0 to 1, never more or less, or else it's going to screw up your widget. So do those calculations on your end. It's meant to be very basic so that it suits your coding needs. You can handle it however you need, and yeah, that's pretty much it. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, a comment, whatever. And following me on my socials. These resources are free for everyone, so share with all your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord, ask them there. And that's pretty much it. Have an amazing day and good luck creating.